there's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old. Now, do you know anyone that's 150? I don't. Okay. They should be on the Guinness Book of World Records. They're missing out. So, that's a case where, I think they're probably dead. It's my guess. Or they should be very famous, one of the two.
So we got the news today that the commissioner of the Social Security Administration would be resigning after Elon Musk went into Social Security and found massive amounts of waste, fraud, and abuse. Isn't it so funny how that works and how that timing all came to be? We'll tell you all about it in today's video because I think this is really important information that all Americans need to be aware of. But first, two things. Number one, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That's the best way to support our work. Hit that red button. And number two, I want to pose the question, who in this country could possibly be against this, right? How could you possibly oppose finding waste and fraud within Social Security? Because guys, let's remember, these are programs that all of us as Americans who actually work for a living pay into, and we're promised that money. So it should be completely offensive and stunning to find out that people who do not deserve Social Security, and in some cases, people who are not even alive, are receiving that money. And I especially find it to be so ironic. Remember this, Democrats who are opposed to everything that DOGE is doing, they're saying, no, how dare you go in and find audits and actually do stuff about government efficiency? They are the party who has run around screaming for years now that Donald Trump wants to take away your Social Security, and Democrats will always be the party that protects Social Security. How many times have you heard this talking point in campaign after campaign, and yet when push comes to shove, all they do is whine and scream about us trying to literally save Social Security. I'll explain why that is in a second, but first, let's remember, this is what the Democrats always whine and screech about: Social Security.
So let me be clear. Social Security and Medicare are not entitlement programs. They are earned benefits. Hardworking American taxpayers pay in to Social Security and Medicare every day, every week, every month, every year throughout their entire adult life. They've earned those benefits, worked hard for those benefits, and deserve those benefits. So as Democrats, our promise to the American people is that we will fight hard to make sure that no one in this town takes away Social Security or Medicare from the American people. Not now, not ever, no means never.
Yeah, Hakeem Jeffries. So I once again ask the question, if you're such a warrior about defending Social Security, how could you possibly be opposed to what DOGE is doing? Because DOGE is literally, as we speak, trying to save the Social Security system. Hakeem Jeffries is absolutely right about one thing. Yes, Social Security and Medicare are not entitlements. They are earned benefits that Americans pay into against our own consent, by the way. So yes, it is a serious problem when people who do not deserve Social Security are receiving that money. And maybe it would be something that we could kind of turn a blind eye to, if not for the fact that as we speak, Social Security and Medicare are literally going bankrupt, right? People have no clue in a couple generations how we're going to be able to pay for and fund these programs. The federal government is already struggling to fulfill its promises to pay people the money that they are owed. Heck, my generation, I fully assume, is never going to receive a single dollar of Social Security and Medicare. So if that's the case, then I don't know. It's a complicated issue, right? But a great place to start in terms of, again, saving a system that is struggling to find money is stop sending the money, of course, to people who shouldn't be receiving it. Right? That is step one. There's a lot of stuff you probably have to do to save Social Security if it's even salvageable, but maybe a non-starter there should be to literally stop sending Social Security money to people who don't pay it, because every single dollar, that's why it should offend you so much, by the way. This is such a deep issue of government waste, because every single dollar that is sent to fraudulent Social Security payments is a dollar that could be sent to an American who actually deserves it. And guess what? This bureaucracy would not have such hefty financial problems funds. So again, not sure how Democrats could be opposed to it. I don't know. Maybe because they're completely full of crap, right? Maybe because all of the constant virtue signaling about saving our programs for Americans are not sincere or genuine. And it's very interesting, by the way, how as DOGE continues to uncover legitimate fraud, as it continues to kind of show the truth to the American people, the Democrat messaging on the Department of Government Efficiency has completely changed. Because remember when it was first formed, they said, how dare we do this? This is unconstitutional. Nobody voted for Elon Musk. And now the big anti-DOGE talking point is literally to say, well, we kind of support what DOGE is doing. Right? Notice the pivot there. They were so against it. Now they're saying, look, everyone supports getting rid of waste and abuse in the government, but maybe we should not do it so efficiently and effectively, to which I say, you're literally changing the goalposts. You understand that? Literally, you guys started from one place. Now you're conceding like 50% that we are correct. Yeah, maybe because you're losing the argument. But nonetheless, this is where they're now pivoting to making the argument.
And they're not.
No one's disagreeing. There's bloat and waste.
Jobs were.
No one's disagreeing.
Well,
with
then
that.
why are y'all not exposing it? Have y'all even talked about, hey, Mozambique, we sent them $10 million for circumcisions? Okay. I mean, goodness gracious, ma'am. Americans are paying
we've been covering at length
salaries.
Where the money is going to.
No, you haven't. All y'all do is run down Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and you continuously do this, and that's why your ratings are in the tank, ma'am. All
right, Congressman Tim Burchett, we're going to leave it there. I do appreciate your time coming on and having this conversation. Thank you very much.
Right, so that's literally what the Democrats are saying now. Nobody disagrees that there's waste, fraud, and abuse. Wait, since when? Since when? You guys suddenly agree with us and you're pretending like you always did? No, that's not the case. You guys have been trying so hard to defend everything that's happening in our government. You've been saying that we're just giant conspiracy theorists for calling it out. Now all of a sudden you're like, well, you guys are right, but no, but you're now admitting that we're correct. Is that what's going on here? And of course, that CNN anchor tries to say, we have been talking about it. Oh yeah, because CNN notoriously, they've always been talking about government waste and the amount of things our government is putting money and resources to. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. And the same goes for Democrats, by the way, who again, like Chuck Schumer, we played that clip before, are now trying to argue that like they agree with the principle of DOGE and they've always stood for this stuff. No, you haven't, because my question there is, if Democrats apparently have always supported actually rooting out the waste and abuse in our government, then why haven't they done it when they had power for the past 4 years? I'm not exactly sure.
Listen to the words from those Democrat politicians. You would think you are listening to President Trump, Elon Musk, and our entire administration, who are saying the exact same things that Democrat politicians promised the American people they would do for decades. President Trump is just the first president in our lifetimes to actually do it. And now you see the Democrat Party and the mainstream media spiraling out of control about a very simple promise: rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse from our federal bureaucracy. This is a promise President Trump campaigned on. He is now delivering on it. And I've been fighting fake news reporters all day long here in the Washington, D.C. swamp, who are trying to fearmonger the American people into believing that this administration is going after their hard-earned tax dollars and their hard-earned Social Security checks. So I want to set the record straight on your show tonight, Sean, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do so. President Trump has directed Elon Musk and the DOGE team to identify fraud at the Social Security Administration. They haven't dug into the books yet, but they suspect that there are tens of millions of deceased people who are receiving fraudulent Social Security payments.
Yeah, so I again ask the question, how could any political party be against finding waste and fraud in the government? And how could a party who supposedly brands itself all on this issue of Social Security somehow have a problem with the fact that we are saving Social Security by cutting out all the fraudulent payments and hence providing more legitimate funds to the system that Americans involuntarily paid into and do actually deserve that money back? Of course, the new excuse you're hearing is that, well, what DOGE is doing in principle is fine, but we have issues of privacy, right? Elon Musk is going to go in and steal all of Americans' personal information. And you, for instance, see this tweet right here from a Cenk over at TYT. He says that Elon has access to all of the budgets, so I have no idea why he needs the personal personal information of every person and corporation, including his competitors, through the Treasury, IRS, and Social Security. Literally nothing can come of that. It has nothing to do with budget cuts. So this is the excuse you're hearing. Oh no, the private information. But here's my question in response to Cenk. Yeah, you can look at the budget, but you cannot audit a budget for fraud unless you see the actual details of where that money is going. Okay, and it turns out this is not a major privacy concern. Even the federal courts ruled that as of this week. But nonetheless, right, if our central assertion, Cenk, is that Social Security payments are going to like non-citizens, people who are ineligible, as well as dead people, how are you going to figure that out if you do not actually audit where the Social Security payments are going? Because you know all the budget says? The budget says X amount of money for Social Security. You have to actually look into it. And the analogy I would make there is your beloved IRS, right? So if the IRS is looking for tax fraud and they see some really rich person says, oh, in 2024, I spent $10 million on food. And you see something like that, like $10 million as a business expense on food, that doesn't sound right. Well, guess what? If you can't go in and audit those tax returns, how can you possibly prove or verify whether or not that's fraud or not? You have to audit things. You have to be able to see the intricate data of a system in order to audit it. So that is what the excuse here, what about the excuse here is so unbelievably ridiculous. And it again boils down to this. For some odd reason, the Democrat Party is obsessed with defending the waste, fraud, and corruption within our government, even a program like Social Security, which of course begs the question as to why. I'm not exactly sure why politicians would, for instance, want to cut down on things that should go to Americans, but are not going to Americans, right? Cutting down on fraud, unless, of course, they themselves, I don't know, maybe have a vested interest in that. Whether it's the fact that all of these useless federal workers are the political constituency of the Democrats, or somehow their donors are protected, or somehow there's personal corruption there, you answer me those questions. I'm not sure. I'm just pointing out here. The only reasons you could be opposed to this, and the only reason they are lying and gaslighting about this so much is, again, because they have a vested interest in making sure we don't unturn their dirty secrets. And that is exactly what has happened as of today over at the Social Security Administration, as we bring you the news that the current head of Social Security just stepped down over DOGE trying to access the information that, again, they need to audit for fraud in Social Security. Let's remember that. There's no way to go in and see if a Social Security payment is fraudulent if you can't figure out, if you can't go in and actually see where the payment is going, right? So nonetheless, here is the reporting from the AP. The Social Security Administration's acting commissioner has stepped down from her role at the agency over Department of Government Efficiency requests to access Social Security recipient information, according to two people familiar with the official's departure who were not authorized to discuss the matter publicly. So again, you know, they're going to fearmonger about this so much. They want to see and steal your Social Security number, as if, that's not already happening in a lot of illegal cases in this country. But it's like, no, the reason we need to see the data is because we need to know where Social Security payments are going in order to root out fraud. The only reason you would be against that is because fundamentally you want to maintain fraud within the Social Security Administration. And that seems to me exactly like what this acting commissioner, Michelle King, who knows, maybe, right, was thinking. I'm not sure. I'm not in her brain. But nonetheless, she departed from the agency over the weekend after more than 30 years of service. And this all happened after King refused to provide DOGE staffers at the SSA with access to sensitive information, the people said on Monday. Apparently, the White House has replaced her as acting commissioner with this guy named Leland Duquette, who currently works at the Social Security Administration. So there you have it. Now, this comes at the same time. So now that problem is sort of figured out, right? We are now able to move forward and take a look at what's actually going on in Social Security. And Elon Musk has already found some very important things, because you have, for instance, John Fetterman here, fear-mongering about rummaging through your personal stuff, okay? All the privacy concerns we keep hearing, because again, apparently when you audit Social Security for fraud, that is violating people's privacy somehow. Well, here's what Elon Musk uncovered, guys, is that you have tens of millions of people already that they found marked in Social Security as alive when they are definitely dead, right? This is an issue that Elon has raised before, which is all of the dead people still in the Social Security system. And just to give you an example here, right? Apparently, according to the current numbers, people ages 110 to 119 years old, there's still 3.6 million people alive in America who are over 110 years old. I'm not sure that's exactly true, but you keep seeing the numbers right here. 120 to 129 years old, also 3 million people still alive in the Social Security system. What is going on here? And then at the points where we definitely know people are not alive, right? 130 years old, 140, 150. Apparently, there's even one person in the Social Security system who is marked as alive who is 360 years old. I don't even know how that's possible, but apparently that's true. You have that person, you have 1,000 people over 220 years old. Supposedly these people are all listed as quote unquote alive in the Social Security Administration. And you got to look at that and ask yourself, okay, you wonder why this agency is running out of money? Maybe because its own regulation of itself is this poor. And by the way, even MSNBC admitted today that the fraudulent payments they found are worse than that. Apparently, in 2024, under the Biden administration, the Social Security Administration paid $71.8 billion of improper payments. Take a look.
There was an Inspector General audit last year that showed over an 8-year period, the Social Security Administration made almost $72 billion in improper payments, a little less than 1% of payments in that time period. Now, the report also says that most of these improper payments were overpayments, not payments to deceased people or people who didn't qualify to receive these payments. At the same time, Jose, this effort by DOGE is to go through this agency like every other and try to weed out waste and fraud.
Yeah, I mean, and also 72 billion, and that's without a comprehensive search. I mean, that's significant.
Yeah, it absolutely is significant, because every dollar of the improper payments, whether going to dead people or just overpayments, whatever, it's all wrong. It's all screwed up, right? Of money that you are wasting. I don't care if it's 1%. 1% can make a big difference when you're struggling so hard to continue to fund Social Security itself. Every single dollar of that is owed to you, the American taxpayer, the people who actually are eligible to get Social Security. And your government just threw it all away to go to dead people, to overpay people who didn't need it, etc. And again, this is just the tip of the iceberg, because we have not started to uncover the full extent of the potential fraud that is happening within Social Security. And already, again, $72 billion of waste, $72 billion that could have gone to saving the funding for Social Security, which Democrats constantly remind us is, of course, running out of money. That is egregious. That is insane. And again, the only reason you could be opposed to this, the only reason you could be opposed to looking at finding the improper payments within Social Security, well, I don't know. I don't know why you could be against that. Maybe you're the one receiving it. Maybe in that case, you would be against, hey, don't get rid of my fraud, please. Maybe you have a political interest in somehow destroying Social Security, or allowing others to commit fraud in Social Security. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. No, it needs to stop. Very glad this is happening. And again, I think this should be a real crossroads issue for Democrats, because the moment that Democrats go out and say, which they are right now, that it is bad to find fraud in Social Security is the moment that we know their big promise to us that they're going to save Social Security and Medicare is completely disingenuous. And that is what they're showing us at the current moment by fear-mongering about the fact that we're going in and trying to find the fraud that, again, will save money that can go to your Social Security. Okay, so this party is just completely disingenuous. But with that said, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.